Hello Raiders, Mr. Tham here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video in particular, I get asked a lot. How can I make a clan boss team? What champions should I use? Or what kind of champions that will be very good for it? It's easy and simple. You don't have to look for always legendary champions or epic champions as a starter in the game. So, I'm gonna show you a couple of champions and some pointers. What kind of champions you need to make a good clan boss team. First of all, let me start with, for beginners, either we're gonna run a counter comp if you pulled a counter attack champion, or you're just gonna run a speed comp. And I'm gonna talk from the perspective of a starter player. You don't need to look for legendaries early game. You don't need to aggravate yourself or get angry because you didn't pull certain champions. There are rare champions that can actually help you. Point number 1. The first thing you need to look for in your clan boss team is a champion that have an attack down A1. That means he always does it with his first ability, which is not ever on cooldown. So, let's see the options. First option. In Orcs, we have Veteran. He have it on his A1. It's have a decent chance of 50% to land a 50% attack down. And his kit is not bad also. He have a crit buff for himself. He's defense and attack based. So, he's actually a good candidate to build for clan boss. His aura actually doesn't benefit clan boss, so don't look for it. But as a defense-based champion, it's always good to use defense-based champions because you're gonna build them with defense, they're gonna survive long, and they will get the job done. So this is the first option. Another option, a Lizardman. We have Bogwalker. Bogwalker also has it. It have the same chance booked, up to 50% chance of landing, 50% decrease attack. This debuff is so important because the longest this debuff is up, the longer the team you survive in the battle. He's defense based also. He have a defense up, the lower version of it, not the 60% defense up, but it's still something. And he have reflect on his passive. And he's defense based. Attack and defense here on his A2 because of the buff. And he's defense based. And his aura is also not really usable. Another option, which is one of my favorites actually, of all rares and attack down A1s, is Coffin Smasher. Coffin Smasher's kit, it actually fits for clan boss. He's HP based. He's A1. Hits 3 times. 15% chance each hit, not booked, to land the decreased attack. Fully booked, this chance goes to 30% each hit to land an attack down. So that's still a good chance, and for a 3-hitter, you can put War Master on him. Giant Slayer Mastery. War Master you're gonna put on someone who doesn't hit 3 times, basically. Anything that less than 3 hits, you're gonna put War Master on. Giant Slayer, 3 hits and above. So he have high chance to land it. On his A2, he have HP burn. Has 50% chance of landing an HP burn debuff. And this debuff actually hits hard. It's a 1 dot, but it hits higher than poisons, and that we're gonna talk about in a bit. This move, booked, gains 25% extra, so it's 75% to land. So this is really beneficial, and he's HP based as I mentioned, so he's gonna be tanky. His passive, decrease the damage enemies inflict with AoEs by 5%. And clan boss, we all know, he have 2 AoEs and 1 single target stun. So this will be beneficial in clan boss. So, this is done with the attack down. These are all rare champions. I'm just going to show you as a starter, if you don't have epics, don't have any legendaries, what you can use. Point number 2. Look for a poisoner. Your main damage on clan boss is gonna be from your poisoner. So, the best rare poisoner in the game, hands down, is Frozen Banshee. She is really good. She have high base defense and good amount of health. So even if you build her that tanky, she's gonna be really beneficial for you. Her A1, attack one enemy 2 times, 80% chance of placing 5% poison if the target is under poison sensitivity, which is this skill. Her A3, place this at the first turn, then spam the A1, and she will not use her A2 in Clown Boss, so there is no turn meter manipulation or anything gonna happen, because that will ruin your counter comp if you're running a counter comp. And her aura is increase accuracy in all battles by 35%. Honestly, this is a good aura for a rare. She is very nice, and a lot of people even use her in Ultra Nightmare. Here's some examples. Unkillable teams with her and the team as a poisoner, and they're 2k in Ultra Nightmare. Another poisoner, which is not bad, and everyone likes this champion. He's not as good as Frozen Banshee, but he's the people's champ, Kale. The best starter champion you can pick when you start the game. He is so good. His A3, attack 4 times at random, had 40% chance of placing a 5% poison. That goes to 50%. Yes, it's not a high chance, but if you don't have Frozen Banshee and he's your starter champion, then you're gonna use him. That's why Kale is the best starter champion in the game, of all 4. Because you can use him in Clown Boss, you can use him in Arena, you can use him as a campaign farmer, you can use him in dungeons, you can use him everywhere. His A1 have the smaller version of poisons, but it's still poisons. His A2 is an AoE. And his passive, 15% extra health on all battles. That's another good option to use for Clown Boss as a poisoner. There is an option that a lot of people don't know about, which is an uncommon Outlaw Monk. That's another good option. His A1, attack one enemy, has 10% chance of granting an extra turn. That will go to 25%. His A2 places 2 5% poisons. It doesn't have a chance, he just places them. That means he just needs accuracy. There is no chance to proc, he always places them unless he got resisted. So that's the only time that you will not see his poisons up. And it just needs 1 turn cooldown. And it's easy to book because it's an uncommon. Having this move, if it procs extra turn multi times, that will make his A2 pop earlier. So that will actually help a lot. There's a lot of other options you can use of champion in rares. Just look for them. Don't always look for a legendary champion. Don't always look for an epic if you don't have them. Okay, so next point. We had the poisoner, we had the attack down champion. So the third point I'm gonna talk about, either the counter-attack champion or the speed champion, the speed booster on your team. If you're building a counter-attack comp, I'm not gonna say you need to get Martyr or you need to get Valk, because those are legendary champions. So we're just gonna talk about Skull Crusher, which is the epic version and the easier one to get. If you got him, he's gonna be your counter-attack champion and you're gonna build a team around his buff. Build him the slowest in your team, that goes before the Clown Boss, and he will hit counter-attack for you, and you're golden. But since we are talking about rare champions, I'm gonna talk about the best rare champion in the game. Apothecary. This champion is so good. This champion is really good, even in Clown Boss. His A1, attack 3 times at random, so Giant Slayer confirmed for Clown Boss here. His A2, heals a target ally by 35% HP. This heal can be critical. This is the only champion that have a heal that can crit in the game. This is what we want Apothecary for. This move here for Clan Boss. This is the move that will benefit you the most. Places 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. This is the main thing that you want from him. Because running a speed comp means you want your champion to run multi times per turn of a clan boss. So at least they go twice before the clan boss uses his AoE or gets to his stun turn. That's why you need a speed booster. That's how it's going to be beneficial for you. His aura is increased defense by 21% in dungeons. So that aura doesn't help. So if you're building a speed comp, use Apothecary as a starter champion and you don't have any others but rare. So another option, which is free, you're gonna gain, free to play, friendly, which is Haikatoon. And you're gonna get her from the login rewards, because she have the same option, the same buff, but she's harder to book. And her aura is increased speed in all battles by 19%. You have also an option which is Doomscreech, that fills turn meter and he's a rare by 30% from his A2. And he puts a defense up. This is one of the buffs you actually want to have in Clan Boss. 60% defense up. So Doomscreech is actually a good candidate for that. Attack on enemy 2 times, has 25% of placing, 50% decreased accuracy. You really don't need this decreased accuracy debuff on the Clan Boss. His A3, attack all enemies, places a shield equal to 30% of his max HP on this champion for 2 turns. Damage increase according to this champion's current HP. Because he's HP based, so that's why it's saying like that. He is another candidate for speed boosting, but only turn meter fell. What makes Apothecary better is you have the increased speed buff on you, so it stacks every time the champion takes a turn. With Doomscreech, it only works 1 turn, but he will give you defense up. But hands down, Apoth is the way to go as a starter champion. Later on, and this is really important, you need the Stun Eater, aka the Aura also. Preferably, if you're running Clan Boss, you're gonna look for a defense aura, and you need someone to eat the stun for you. So the best defense aura on a rare is Bulwark. And his kit is so amazing for a rare champion, honestly. His A1, Hefty Flail. Attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit have a 15% chance of placing weaken debuff, 15% weakened, which is the smaller version, but he's defense based. And this will help you do more damage on the Clan Boss. His A2 have a 100% chance fully booked. It goes to 100% of placing HP burn for 2 turns. And this move actually hits hard for a rare champion. His passive, when attacked, has 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So you also have a debuff extender. His aura, increase ally defense in all battles by 17%. So this is really good for your team. You will increase their defense, and since most of the champions we just mentioned are defense based, when you have an aura like this, their damage is also increased. So this is one of the perfect champs to be a lead in Clan Boss. So far we have a lead champion, we have an attack down champion, we have a poisoner, we have a speed booster. So the last spot is missing for, you can either go with a cleanser, you can go with a damage dealer, you can go with a defense down champion. The choice is yours, whatever you see fit. If you want a cleanser who will actually provide more healing for your team, you have an option of Reliquary Tender. Yes, she is void, but she is a rare, so it's easy to get her. It's not difficult. Another option you can use, for example, you can go War Maiden if you want defense down, because she places it. It's not on her A1, but she places it, and it's a high chance. And she have the weaker version of poisons on her A1. There's a lot of variety of champions you can use. It just depends on how you make your team. It's not difficult to pick. Like later on, you can actually swap some champions. For example, if you got a Doom Priest later on, she's an epic, and one of the coolest epics in the game because she doesn't need books to be viable. And her passive actually cleanses. Remove all 1 debuff and heal all allies by 7.5% of their HP. And she have an attack up buff, 4 turns cooldown. If you booked her, it's gonna be 3 turns cooldown. She is very good to remove the stun from your champion, who's gonna soak it. Or, if you have that nasty decreased speed debuff on your champions after the second AoE on Spirit Clan Boss. You have a lot of varieties of champions. It just depends how your team setup is. You have to make the perfect choices, or good choices, let's say. Let's talk about Clan Boss for a bit. So, Clan Boss have different difficulties. As we can see, every difficulty have different rewards. So, take your time. Baby steps. Don't try to jump to Ultra Nightmare immediately, like when you have no champions or you don't have a Great Hall that's upgraded. Clan Boss changes his affinity after he passes 50% of his HP. 100% till 50%, he will be on Void. The moment he moves to 50% and below 50%, he will go either Spirit, he will go Force, he will go Magic. Spirit Clan Boss have the worst debuff you can get. It's Decreased Speed. Decreased Speed needs a cleanser if you're running a counter comp. If you're running a speed comp, you're gonna be fine. Just make sure your champions have good speed. Force Clan Boss will put a decreased attack debuff on you. It's not a big of a deal. Magic Clan Boss, on the other hand, will put decreased accuracy. So for someone who's starting the game, to have that decreased accuracy, and you barely have the minimum requirement of accuracy, it's gonna be annoying a little bit. So my recommendation for you is to boost your accuracy a little bit more. So when that debuff happens, it doesn't actually reduce a lot from yours, what you have currently. Also, when you build champions for Clan Boss, farm lifesteal gear. You want to build them with lifesteal gear early game. This is the most viable set for Clan Boss early game. Because if you don't have a healer that will heal your team fully, like Bad Alcazar for example, who have in his A2 double continuous heal that will stay for 2 turns, and your team will be fully healed after the 2 turns, then you really must use lifesteal gear. And that's a recommendation early game, is to use lifesteal gear. And mostly you're gonna go with defensive stats, like a chest piece with defense percentage on it. Depends on the champion. You can go crit rate gloves, you can go HP gloves, you can go defense even and get crit rate from substats. But the best option is to go lifesteal and speed if you can get the accuracy. If you can't get the accuracy, then go with the accuracy set with the lifesteal. These sets here. One important thing I need you guys to keep an eye on. Always build your champions with crit rate. Always for clan boss. Crit rate is really, really important. It's one of the most important things that you will get your damage from. Don't say, okay, I have a poisoner, I'm gonna build the rest of the team tanky and my poisoner will do damage. No, you need your whole team to chip in the damage, basically. I run a team with no poisoner. I run a team with no poisoners. So, I need to put crit rate on everyone. If I can't put it 100%, try as high as you can. Put crit rate on them, so they can actually do more damage, so your total outcome will be higher. Keep in mind that crit rate is really, really, really important in your clan boss champions. It's not like build them tanky and I'll leave them. If you can't get it from substats, build them with crit rate gloves. If you're worried about not having the best lifesteal gear from Dragon and you cannot farm high Dragon stages, go to campaign. Farm it from here. Get up to 5 stars and 4 stars. Do not save the 3 stars anymore. You don't need them. Get 5 stars at least. Build your team around it and your team will be good. And this is the end of the video, guys. I hope the information I provided in this video will help you as a starter player or as a new player. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment down below. And I'll be releasing more videos about clan boss for starter players, what you should do, if you want to build a counterattack team, for example. There's going to be a lot of different videos in the future. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell so you can get all the information about the new videos all the time. Thank you for watching and peace out.